Okay, guys, welcome once again to the first session of week 2. Yes. So this week we'll be having country cousin is already here. He will be taking us on mastering Cairo, right? He's going to be teaching you on Cairo syntax, writing your first Cairo program, data structures in Cairo that you need to know and understand, from arrays, tuples, enums, structs, how you can basically use undo data when you're writing your Cairo smart contract and Cairo program. Is going to also go into traits and generics, some things that you need to basically understand, because you will need those knowledge to be able to write your Cairo program and your Starknet contract. He's going to take you on understanding ownership, references, snapshots. And you're also going to be having a practical session where you solve the Starknet solutions, Starknet challenges, right, in the class. So before country cousin comes up, I quickly want to, I want to believe that most of the persons on this call, you have done your assignments for week 1. You submitted your assignment for week 1. If you have, you can just give a thumbs up in the comment section. If you have not, normally the deadline closed yesterday. And then I think it was Ricardo, I don't know whether I pronounced that correctly. It was the one that made he made a complaint on the Telegram channel, right? So for to note, all the deadline for submission, weekly submission, is always on Mondays, 10:59 p.m. UTC, and that is 11:59 p.m. West African time, right? So that you guys do note that. Currently, the submission form from week 1 is still on, and I'm going to leave it on till the rest of the day. I'm going to leave it on, so that's like a saving grace for you that haven't submitted your assignment. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. Country cousin, just give me 5 minutes. I need to share this with them. Okay. Can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Thank you. So currently we have this is the weekly, this is your scoreboard for the bootcamp, which will be updated every week, so you can always track your points. So we have, like I said last week, right, during the onboarding session, every homework is 10 points. And then we are going to have 7 homework in total. That's 70 points, right? And then for you, these are the 3 categories of the certificate spoke that we have, right? So depending on how well you do based on this category, that's how your spoke will be awarded to you. So this is what we have. If you're seeing attendance 2 for week 1, that means you attended both sessions for week 1. If you're seeing 1, that means you attended just 1 session. And if you're seeing 0, that means you didn't attend any session for that particular week. So that's how it's going to go till the end of the bootcamp, right? So we haven't updated this yet because we haven't started grading. We are yet to close the form for week 1. So I'm just going to share the link. I'm also going to share it on the Starknet Africa Colony. So just in case you have your name So we use Zoom to take attendance just in case you have the name that you used in logging in on Zoom is different from your real name. Please make sure you comment. I will drop the link on Starknet Africa Colony so you can log your complaint there, right? And then if you have maybe there's someone, okay, I already made mention of, there's someone that is a user, please do let me know what exactly your name is. And for subsequent classes, please always use your real name. So yes, Ebuka, please, you can drop your question in the chat box. So I don't want to take much time. Thank you. If you have other questions, we can take it. I will take it in the chat box, and we can also take it at the end of the class, or either on the Starknet Africa channel or Telegram channel on the Starknet Africa Colony. That said, yes. Hi, country cousin, please, you can take over. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
So
Welcome to the session.
I think, can you like increase your volume?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's much clearer.
All right. So welcome everybody to the second week of the bootcamp. You're still sharing your screen, Sarah.
Yes, I just stopped sharing.
So today, we'll be guiding us through, Cairo and the syntax, the very, very fundamentals actually. And hopefully we get to have some good time, learn some good stuff. So right now I'll begin to share my screen so that get started. Okay. Please confirm if you can see my screen right now. Well, let me share this slide so that you can have access to it. Um, So I'm sharing this slide so that we can have access to what I will be sharing with us. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, slide show. So today we are going to be exploring kind of master what Cairo is all about.
Country cousin, sorry, I think you're complaining that you're not very audible.
But can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you, but if you can increase your your voice a little, that would be nice.
My voice.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, like I was saying, welcome once again to the second week of the bootcamp. So today we are going to be exploring Cairo, what Cairo is all about. Now, can you confirm if you can hear me better right now? Talking about the audience, can you hear me well now? It's not better. Wow. Is it only Joseph or okay?
I can hear you.
Yeah, some people can hear me good now. Prince can hear me better. Prince. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So yes. Okay, let's get started now. So first thing we have to cover is what is Cairo, because we want to learn what Cairo is. And last week, I believe we were told what Cairo is and why we need to use Cairo, why building on Starknet, right? So I would just like, interest or maybe emphasize what we've been told. And yeah, so Cairo is also big a deal, a programming language you use, if you're building on Starknet. So within the ecosystem, just like you have Solidity for people building on Ethereum, right? But if you want to build on Starknet, you are going to have a very good understanding of Cairo to be able to make that happen. So next thing we have to talk about is who can learn Cairo, like who is Cairo for? Now we talk about maybe a learning curve in the sense that some of us here, some must have understand or maybe learned something about Rust. So if you know a thing or two about Rust, picking up Cairo will be a lot easier for you, and the curve will be a lot smoother. But that does not mean that if you don't know Rust, that you can't get started with Cairo. Personally, I wouldn't say I'm a Rust dev, but I'm doing the best I can with Cairo. So if I can do it, I believe the rest of us, even if you're getting started, you can do it too. The only thing now is you might require a little bit of more work. We call it dedication on your part, to like catch up with the whole trend. So far, I want to confirm we can all hear me and everything is good. Please in the chat box. All right, all right, Amen. Okay, Damian, thank you. Okay, all right. So, okay, someone's mic is unmuted. Are you trying to say something or? All right. Why do we need to write Cairo? I mean, there are other programming languages. First of all, we've been told that Cairo is a proverb. In Cairo, you write a provable program, and it has to do with ZK, something called ZK, zero knowledge proofs. So, with something like Python, you can write programs, all right, but you can't prove the programs you've written. But with Cairo, you can write a program and as well as prove those programs to make sure that it is actually what you've written that is being executed at any particular time. So there are these instances that we do use. They call it maybe space exploration program. A company you want to explore the space, like Elon Musk, maybe send a rocket, to Mars or whatever. And then you as an engineer was tasked with writing a program that can, help, because it's not so easy, right? Sending a jet or rocket to Mars. So we need a particular time window that will be perfect so that we can maximize, minimize the resources we are using in this instance. So you as a dev on the core was tasked with doing this. You do it, write the program that can do this and successfully actually. So eventually, in the end, it was discovered that the PC you have cannot execute the program you've written. So the only alternative right now is to maybe collaborate with a rival company or country, whichever one it is. So what you have to do maybe is between America and Russia. Russia and America is usually in terms per se, right? So you send your program to Russia, you are in America, send it to Russia. And because Russia has a super computer that can execute the program you've written. So the problem now is, how do you know they will not tamper with the program you've written? How do you know they will send it back the way it is? Or maybe, what if they add a malicious code, embed it somewhere that, you won't even know what is happening? So with programming languages like Rust, Python, and the rest, you can't do that. But with Cairo, with the virtue of the fact that it's a provable programming language, you can get the result of your computation and as well as the proof of your computation. Now, that is what makes Cairo very, very powerful, right? Because it relies on mathematical like proofs. I know math is never wrong. Math is never wrong. No matter what you do, 1 plus 1 is always 2. Like, well, depending on the base you're talking about, but at least in base 10, 1 plus 1 is always 2. So, and it's 2 in like everywhere you go. So now us as devs, we don't have to like understand the mathematics, like, that's at work underneath. No, we don't have to worry ourselves. All we have to do is write the normal programming, you know, syntax, logic that we have to write, and every other thing is taken care of for us underneath. So back in the day, there was something called Cairo Zero. It was a bit Pythonic in terms of the syntax, but after a while, it was phased out, and then we have something new that we call Cairo One or Cairo Two. I don't know the latest version, but this is more like Rust like. So, like I said earlier, if you're a Rust dev, picking up Cairo 1, the one we are going to write today, will be a lot easier and a lot smoother for you. But people that can't write Rust, that doesn't mean you cannot pick it up. Cairo is a standalone programming language. So, yes, with a little bit of work and dedication on your part, you can still do what you have to do and feel good about it too. So, next thing we have to talk about is maybe setup. In the group, some of us have been having issues. So I don't know. Everybody on the call, have we been able to install Scab? The package manager for what you are doing today. Have you been able to install it? Both people on Windows and any other operating system. And it's very, very important that you code along or you do as I do. Let me use that word. Okay, Favor says he's been able to install it. No, we haven't. Fan. Uh, okay, people that have not installed it. Okay, somebody said no. Nope. That's Mesoma. So I wonder what the issue is. If you're on Windows, no, we have not. Okay. If you have not, and you're on Windows, you have to use something called WSL. I'm not on Windows, else I would have shown you what WSL looks like. Installing it on Windows, okay, but I've installed it. All right. We're done. Just say, is it a must to use WSL? I think if you're on Windows, it's a must. Yes, but if you're on Linux, maybe you're going to or any other distro or Mac, you'll be fine. You don't have to go through the difficulties. Okay, how to install it on Mac? All right, let me copy the link sent to us before. Uh, so what we have to do is say Cairo book. Sorry, Cairo book. You go to the installation part. Yeah, this this book is it has everything that you need actually. So Joseph that's asking, I'm pasting a link right now. Okay. For Windows users, go to MS Store, okay. How to install a Mac. Success have posted Success and Joseph as a link I posted right now. So you can use that to install Scam. Meanwhile, people that were unable to install it on Windows. So I will show you like a virtual working environment that you can use to get started. But then you need to have a GitHub account. It's called Code Space. So it's not so difficult. All you have to do is so right here you start code code space, something like this. Code space. Um, yes. You open it, it's browser based, so you don't have to install anything else. Once you have a browser, you should be fine. What is it saying? Dashboard. So I think I have some working environment here already, but let me just create a new one. What is this? This took me back to my GitHub. Oh, it's not a GitHub. I'm looking for get started for free. Yeah. So you choose the blank, this guy here, which will normally take you to a new tab. So people, I'm doing this for people that especially Windows users that your WSL is not working. That's Windows uh sublinks is not working. So maybe you can use this to practice why maybe you'll be able to figure out what to do about your local working environment. So while this is loading, I will come down here, installing this for, you see the instruction here, Linux or Mac OS. So if you have Mac or Linux, you don't have to worry yourself about using this environment I'm trying to use right now. All you have to do is get this command here, and maybe at your leisure time, you come around and read and maybe understand everything that's going on here to have a better understanding of the whole process. All right. So this guy is done. Right, he's done. And then I'll paste right now. If I should run something like maybe I should increase my a bit. If I run scab version, it says not found. Right now, I will attempt to install it and let's see what happens. Yes, and so I will install scab right here. Yes, I remember if you have any question while I go through the session, do not hesitate to ask, okay? Because if you keep quiet, nobody's going to help you actually because they're not magicians. So if you have any issue, you speak up and I do the best I can to carry you along. As opposed to you waiting, you're not understanding it, you're not getting it. Keep quiet. After say 2 hours, you be like, I don't understand everything. That's not going to help anybody at all. So it's better you just stop me anytime that you feel like you're not getting it, and then I'll do my best to explain. All right. So it says it's been installed. So next thing I have to do right now is run this or you start a new terminal. So if I should run the command I ran earlier, I should still get not found. But if I should open a new tab, say scan dash dash version. You can see I have a version right here. Alternatively, you can copy this. You have it says source and the rest. You copy this and you run it here, paste. And if we run the scan dash dash version, you should get the version like this. I mean, you can see it's so straightforward and very, very easy. Very, very simple as well. So, do we have any question based on what I've done so far? It's very, very simple actually. So I will take the silence as that we understand it. And we are coming along. So right now I'll be going back to my slide and we continue from there.
Some people are saying in the chat that you should go over it again.
Okay, I should go over it again. In the chat, but I can't see any chat here. Oh, now it just updated. All right. Yes, if you can install it, the person that said, can I run it from VS Code Power Shell Terminal? After installing it everything you do actually has to be in the WSL, okay? Then from the WSL, you can open your VS Code for fun. I don't know if I got that name right. You need to install it, okay? Please go over it again. Okay, so I'll do that. Use the CMD just to update. Okay, I sent it's just this link that we use, nothing else actually. Let me copy it. Okay, I copy this and go to the chat. Okay, I just pasted the command that I used in installing this whole thing. That's the command here, and you can find it on Cairo Book. Cairo Book. Send the link. Okay. Okay, I'll just follow you on. Yes, yes. That would be a lot easier for you. It's free, actually. CodeSpace is free, completely free. Myself, I not to get money, so I'm using the free version. Maybe you can pay for the free version, pay paid version later. But currently, I'm using the free version, so you too can use the free version. That's Prince. It's free, completely free. No, it's not paid. Once you have a GitHub account, use your GitHub account and log in. I don't know how you're logging in. Friends, use GitHub account and log in. It's not paid. You can see what I just showed you here. I did not pay for anything. Yes, we can give you some few minutes. That depends if you're done right now. For fun. Sorry, man, if I didn't get that in right. Okay. So I want to believe that at least we're up to where I am right now, so that I'll get back to the slides, go through it, and as quickly as we can and call it a day. We don't have to waste stay here all day. Fafan, are you there? And the person that asked the question, that's Celia Asila.
Okay, I was saying that people were saying you should go over in the chat, but not me, for me.
What's the update currently? Have you been able to install this? You can use what we are using right now. Maybe later you can go back and find a way to make your WSL work. And meanwhile, if you're going to build in the Web3 ecosystem, I mean Starknet and Web3 ecosystem all together, I will actually advise you to get at least update your PC to a Linux, maybe any version at all. It can be, there are so many actually distros we can use, but the beginner one personally I used back in the day was Ubuntu. So get started with Ubuntu and then yeah, we have good time as well. Okay, for fun is here with us. So I believe everybody is right where we are. And also, while I was conversing, talking with some of the people on in the call, let's of us are completely new to the ecosystem. Like, no, Ubuntu is not slow, Deborah. Maybe it's your PC. I don't know the specs you have. Ubuntu is not slow. So maybe it's the specs, the RAM size, HDD or SSD. Those things actually count. So maybe you have to look up that as well and know if you have to unload onboarding your PC to help you um, um, get along with what you are doing. But for a development, I don't think it requires a lot. Uh, yes, Trevor says it's one of the lights, it's very, very light. Ubuntu is very, very light actually. So what was I saying? Yeah, people that were complaining about being entirely beginner ecosystem. So it's okay to maybe get lost in the process, but that is why we have the community to help. You can see we are helping you out, no matter how silly or rubbish you think the question is. All you have to do is ask. They are not silly, they are not bullshit, they are not whatever. Just ask, and maybe somebody actually will learn from it too. So the group is there for you to make use of it, and but if you keep quiet, like I said, nobody will help you. So make the effort and the help will come. So regardless of the stage you are, if you're completely beginner or you've been doing this for some time, you have an issue, reach out and the help will be there. Say, I can't seem to paste the code in workspace. Yes, the browser will ask you if you want to paste the code. You should accept that you want to paste. Maybe that's the issue. If you say no, then you won't be able to paste it. That's for fun, one fun. Sorry. Yes, February. It should be hardware issue. SSD should be fine. Very, very smooth and slick. Thank you for that feedback. So I'll be going back to the slide so that we get right on it. Okay. So this is the environment I've set up. I think my slide is here. All right. Going back to slideshow. My throat is getting so dry. So after everything I've said, if you don't know my name yet, this is my name, Victor Ifena. Call me country cousin, blockchain developer, and this is what I look like. So next thing I'll be your tutor actually. This is the agenda we have for the day. Writing your first Cairo program. We explore data types, structures in Cairo, uh, the control flow, functions, and if we have enough time, we can go through arrays, tuples, enums, and structs. If we don't, then we can cover this in our next section because the goal here is not to be as fast as possible, but to carry as many of us as possible, carry us along, and hopefully we get to understand and enjoy our time here. All right, the next writing your first career program. Now I believe we all have our environment set up. Let me just check the charts quickly. All right, so nothing here. So I probably will work with what we have right now. You know, the environment I just set up. Okay, what is it? Okay, the exit slideshow to access it. So not here. This is it. So if you want to work with this, there's also an extension that will help you, you know, with syntax highlighting and everything. Uh, Go to marketplace. I think that's this place extension. Then you search for Cairo one. This one here. Click on it. Don't go for this. Go for the one with 1.0. I think it's already installed here. Maybe I've used it before now. So it's asking me to uninstall. Yes, but you have to install it. I have it already. So I'll go back here. Right now, I don't have any working folder. So what I have to do is set up one. I'll use Stab, which we just installed. So Stab, new, call it our our first, not correct, our first pro. Need to know it. This one I'm having issues with spellings. We bring today. So first call it project. That should be fine. Now you're gonna have two options to choose from. You can either use Starknet Foundry or Cairo Test. If you're writing a smart contract, which I believe you are going to be doing from next week, I will obviously advise you to use Starknet Foundry by default. But since we are going to write many programs today, I'll be using the second option. Yes, that reminds me, you have in Starknet, you have the programs and the contracts. So I think I was in class last week when you were told that Cairo is actually a general purpose programming language. It's not just a smart contract programming language like Solidity. You get this. So you can use it to write smart contracts and also use it to do other things like machine learning. Yes, there's something like that within the ecosystem. You can use it to build games. You can build games as well. Okay, Chidinma is raising her hand. I
Yeah,
think you
good
can
evening.
unmute. Yes. So what
Can
is
you
the
hear me?
question you have?
Yes,
Yes, I can
please.
hear you.
Sorry for cutting you. So
It's
for person
okay.
that has already like installed this and you want to like follow what you're doing during the assignments, we were told to like install Starknet Foundry. So how are we going to go about it now?
The command we have right here actually installs both Starknet Foundry and Scab for you. This is, I didn't actually explain that command. Um, it's one of the latest, what do you call it? You know, updates from, the people responsible for this. Can't remember their name. So it's called Stack Up. You can see it somewhere, stackup.dev. Back in the day, you have to install Scab separately, then install Foundry separately. But with this, at least from what I used to know, it installs everything you need, both ASDF, Starknet Foundry. I know some of us don't know what ASDF means, but that's okay. So it installs everything you need to get started with. So if I want to check for Starknet Foundry, I can do it right here. Let me switch to the second terminal I have, and I will show you the second terminal. I will say SN Forge. Shouldn't be space here, I think. Because if you write what is not correct, you won't get the results. You can see Foundry is installed. The version is 0.41 piece. I believe you can see what I'm showing us. So
Yeah.
Stack, yes, StackUp installs everything you need. Was it said here? Um, install the latest version. You might respond, okay. It was not said here, but this is the output. You can actually see everything at work right here. So
It's
yes,
it
at,
said it
at
there. It said it there. Oh.
so what?
I said when you go back to the Cairo book, you see it there on the
Yes,
line.
yes,
Talk about Foundry.
everything is there. Yes, everything is there. So that Cairo book is actually like the dictionary, the go-to. You want anything that's confusing you, you go to Cairo book, and Cairo book will be there to help you as well. So yeah, let me go back to the other terminal.
Right. The
And
main
like I
question,
said,
sorry, my main
okay,
question is like, so now
yeah,
let's open my IDE. I've already like done all these things. Like, what do I do? What do I do next to like start up
what
with?
you do next is to navigate to your terminal within your IDE and run the command that I'm trying to run. So it will create the project in whatever directory you open your IDE from.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So Cairo test, I will hit enter at this point. Enter, and our first Cairo program is created for us right here. Maybe I should make this a little bit smaller. Okay, yeah. So you see once you expand it, I only expanded what we have right here. See the SRC folder, which houses your lib.cairo. Now, while writing your programs or even smart contracts, everything you've written must go through the lib.cairo. You need to take note of that. This is for Git ignore if you're pushing to GitHub or. So then you have your config file. The config file, that's configuration file. This is the name that we used down here in the command line, name of our project. And then the version is using, I don't need all these things for now. Then you have dependencies. Currently, we are writing a program, so we don't have anything here. But if you're writing a smart contract, for example, then you're going to have to include the smart contract dependency somewhere here. If you're using something like OpenZeppelin, you're going to have to include it under dependency. And yeah, goes on and on, depending on if you have maybe a local, maybe call it a project that you are depending on, right? You have to import it under this the config file. So I think I have some chat. Let me go through them and see if there's a question we need. Some when using never did. I have to look for. Okay, since it worked, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's favorable. All right. Okay, that's the command I'm running. Not yes, you need to be careful with your spellings as well. Okay. All right. I think yeah, leave our stuff for us, man. We're okay with that. Okay, so like I said, drop your question whenever you have a question, and I'll get to it. Right now, let's proceed. So, like I'm saying, if you need anything like to configure your files, You do it right here in staff.tom moy. That means you how to pronounce. Then your code goes in right here. This guy you see here comes by default. Personally, I'll be taking it out. And now we get to write our first career program. Okay. But before that, let me go back to my slide and see what I have to tell you. I think we have everything already. We've covered this except this command. So I'll go back to uh, our working environment. So I will say something like function main. Okay, I don't have auto completed. Hold on, replace one. Print line. I probably need to switch to my code book. It helps me like say hello, hello my people, hello my people. All right. The end the whole process. Now we've written a valid. I don't know if you can see what I've written. Let me just explain it a little bit. Hope this is visible enough. All right. So I've written our, our first career program. Hello world. Hello my people. Everything works. Hopefully. And to run this particular code, I'll have to say scam. Sorry, doing the wrong thing. All right, the right thing in the wrong place. Okay, say scam. Now from the update I'm getting, this particular command is gonna be duplicated in time to come. So they are saying we should upgrade to execute, scab execute. And that brings me to the next thing. The ecosystem is constantly evolving, growing. The programming language you're learning currently was released 2 years ago. So you can see it's very, very new. So you that is coming into the ecosystem should also prepare your mind to evolve with the programming language. So don't get discouraged if what you used to know yesterday becomes deprecated today. Just see it as the normal way it is. So, um, like you need to understand this and remember it actually, because start Cairo run used to be everything we have to do to, execute our programs. But right now, um, okay, let me run it. You see what I'm saying? Start Cairo run. What is it saying? Okay, I think I'm not in the folder I'm supposed to be, but you can see what I'm saying here. Warning will be deprecated soon. So you need to like remember this. So I will need to get into the folder, CD our first, yeah, but I should do ls. I should be there. Then scan. All right. So everything meaningful, this should print on the terminal. So you can see right here says, hello, my people. Okay. So I want to believe everybody is here. Like we are able to get this to this extent. It's not so difficult. Nothing we've done so far is like difficult, straightforward. Meanwhile, let me look at the chart. Please copy. Okay, has somebody done that for me? Okay, all working well. Yeah, learning continues, man. Um, Okay. All right. Did somebody help our brother or sister with the code? Uh, hmm. Okay, like you just start Cairo run. It's not so difficult. It's still here on the screen. I'll just paste it so you don't have any excuse for not following the class. That is not what I want to paste. Can somebody help me do that, please? Shouldn't be so difficult. So right now we're going back to my to the slide. So we've used this command, and yes, we have a little bit of talk we need to get through. So it's stateless, it doesn't have access to Starknet VM. I already told you we have a difference, difference between the Starknet smart contracts and then the programs. So the contracts have access to the virtual machine of the Starknet, whereas this is just like you playing around with you don't have access to that. Then you have this guy, function main. In every program you're going to write, this guy here will be present. If it's not present, your code is not going to work. For example, if I change this from main to main, let me see what happens if I run the code. Scarp can run one more time. Once again, you get that warning, execute, and then it says function not found. This guy is not found. So the main function is like the door to your program, the gate through which the compiler enters and executes whatever you have in your program. All right. I'm gonna go back to where I have. Check this one more time. Okay. See, just confirm the code to install. Um, this actually the code space tells you what to do. Just copy whatever that is in between the what's it called again? The quotation marks and paste it. Okay, let me see if I can still find that. I'm not cleaning my somewhere here. Yes, this is it. Source slash home slash code space dot bash rc. Yes, I think that's correct. If you remove the right in front of that, should be fine. Okay, Favor, thank you, Favor. Carry on. When you run a target, yes, target folder is generated automatically. For now, don't worry about that. For now, but if you're writing with like a smart contract, you usually find your Sierra and other file generated. I can actually open it. It's not gonna hurt us. So yes, the file is generated like let's see the content. Okay. Can you explain what this folder means? That's what I'm trying to explain. Why is it taking time to open? It's like an intermediate. You know, I believe you were last week you were told something about Sierra, self intermediate representation. So that is what you can look at it, you can't even understand what's going on here. Or maybe you can. But personally I cannot understand those, so that's the good stuff. So like the intermediate between what we are writing, this thing that you can understand. Where is it again? Yeah, somehow I think I can understand what is happening here. So it's like this is like a representation of what is happening here. Now I can't really understand what's going on here, but that's okay because the machine, virtual machine, will take care of every other thing on it. All right. Moving on to the next. So we'll be able to understand and explain what we have here. And we have example of a Cairo program, what it looks like. So right here we have a function, another function that says call me, and it's taking something and then printing that thing is taking. Right here we are calling the function in the main function. So whatever you do, no matter how many functions you have, the main function is always like ever present, has to be present for your program to. All right. I believe there's questions so far. If you do have a question, just raise your hand. And, so next section is around section 2 is data types in Cairo. And yeah. So Cairo is a statical. Okay, Celia, yeah. What's your question? Celia, your hand was raised earlier. Do you have a question? All right, I'll take the silence as she made a mistake by raising her hand. Say she can't unmute. All right, let me see. Says,
You can always drop any questions you have in the chat box. And that's because, you know,
okay,
we have only like an hour to go. So the tutor can
all
always
right,
come back to it to answer it. Thank you.
okay. So Celia, drop your question, and I'll be expecting that so that we can get to it and uh, move ahead. So Cairo is a statically typed programming language. Um, Now, for some of us that have been writing maybe something like Python or JavaScript, JavaScript is actually JavaScript and Python, right? What you call a dynamically typed language, programming language. Like you don't have to write the type of whatever you are trying to, encode. For example, in JavaScript, oh, why is it reloading? All right, let me just reload. In JavaScript, if you want to define a number, you are going to have to write let num equals the number. I think is let. I've forgotten actually. So you just say let the name of the variable equals then the value. But here in Cairo, you have to like specify the type of num. So it can be U8, U16, depending on what you want to define. However, you can see this, the compiler can actually infer the type for you sometimes. So, virtue of the fact that we have something called tails, maybe we'll get to that in a minute, but just understand that the compiler can infer the type for you. You know, sometimes even if you maybe you forget to specify the type, but it's important you understand that it's a statically typed language. So yeah, I think this guy is about. Wow, everything is cleared out. And that's crazy, man. So scalar types in Cairo, we have like 3 scalar types. Now scalar types are like single uh, data types. You have the felt, the integer, the boolean. Short string is also under felt. Right. So felt, now everything in Cairo is actually felt. Everything in Cairo is felt. It's a special data type, field element. Felt means field element. You know, it's like the sand of which from which your house is built. Everything there. Everything else is one of the sand. So you have felt, and it's a range of value from 0. You say this is x. X is the value. X is greater than or equal to 0, which means the least should be 0. It has to be less than p. P is a very large number. Call it a prime number. Think back in the day, prime number is a number that can divide itself and by 1, I think, back in school. That's what we were told. And we're told that P is equivalent to 2 raised to power 251 plus 17 times, and it's long actually. So maybe at your leisure time, you can type it in a little and see what it gives you. All right. Okay, Celia, you didn't ask the question again in chat. Say you can't unmute. And we told you to like write it down. Just check right now. I can't see any question. All is okay. So in essence, P will always be less than 0 to less than P minus 1. All right. Because remember some of us we're not we and mass are not friends, so it's okay. Said it's less, it means it will always be less than P. We have a negative like 1. Then the Boolean, which is the second scalar type, now is basically true or false. So it's either true or false. If you're writing other programming language, you must have encountered something like Boolean spools, something like that. We have the integers. Like I said, back in the day, it used to be just felt, but felt had some limitations in terms of, some underlying safety in regards to overflow or underflow. Also, the issue of when you're dividing divisions. So, with Cairo 1, integers like U8, U16, U32, we also have U64 and U128. We're all, brought along to make our life, the life of them, smooth and a lot easier as opposed to working with felt. Because sometimes if you work with felt, the output you get will be so wow, like so different from what you're expecting to get, and you don't really want that to there, right? All right, so there is also U26. That's and this is made up of 2 fields. We said it here, the low and the high. So we're talking about combining 2 figures now together to make 256. Okay. So let me see if this guy is actually on. Wow. At this juncture, I will be opening my VS Code actually. Okay. At least that actually have sound of the code. So we don't it's what we call it. Let's go with this guy. So it's no longer proceeding into and then process and VS Code. All right. So for some reasons, maybe my network is not good enough to support it. It decided to like lock it out. So I'll raise whatever I have there. This like comes with templates. So our ever-present function main, we include it. So what was I trying to show us? All right. To use how to define these data types, you can have this let's. By the way, this is how you define a variable with the keyword let's. Let's num equals 8. Now, remember we said if you fail to um, include the data type, the compiler will infer the data type for you. So in this case, can somebody tell us what this data type is? Given that we did not actually specify the type, and I've actually told you something. Okay, I have a chance. Let me see. So somebody says int, another person said you int. The third person said felt. Okay, all right, awesome. Look at the two, you int. Now, if you want to say you int, you have to be specific about the unsigned integer. Okay, you int means unsigned integers. You have to be specific about the type you're talking about. Now, people that say you int, you 32 and you are wrong. But thank you for trying. At least the effort actually counts. Okay? Counts. And thank you. Now, this is felt. Why is it felt? I told you earlier that everything in Cairo is what? Felt. So whenever you fail, like maybe you forgot or whatever, to specify the type, the compiler assumes what? As a felt. So how you get to know the type it is, just hover over it and you can see the type, call colon felt 252. Nice. So this is how you define a variable. The variable is immutable at the moment. All right, just hold that. Now, if you want to change this variable to maybe a U32, like Maurice said it was, you do something like a colon, like U32. Now, what is it saying? It's not capital U, it's small u. So now this becomes, if you hover over it again, is of type U32. Now, you can actually play around with it, make it U64 or whichever one, 64. Now it becomes U64, and yeah, that's it. Let me see. Okay. Then the same thing goes with Boolean. If it's let's call it boom equals, now call it this guy, and then you set it as true. All right, equals to true. And so this is blue. It can be false as well. Now check this out. If I clean the type, the compiler might have mercy on still. You can see it's telling me it's a boolean. So, but it's always advisable to specify the type you want to work with. Yes, because sometimes the compiler might not help you. The integer represented by the integer. These are integers. Are they incremented by bytes or bits? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. So maybe that is something we have to go back and figure out ourselves. Yeah. So on to the next. We have short strings. Back in the day, you don't actually have access to, because even currently, you don't have native strings. But I have something we call the byte arrays. So back in the day, there wasn't even byte arrays. I have something called the short strings. Short strings, like we say, is like character. It shouldn't be more than 1 characters. If it's more than that, the compiler will be late. And how you identify short strings is by they have single quotations. Like you have something like So why is it that case like I said, the compiler can infer the type. This is a very unique value in true or false. So the compiler comes here and takes care of it for us. But in this guy, U8, you have so many unsigned integers. It's not just two. Unlike this guy, there's only two. All right. I hope that makes sense. And then, so to define what I was trying to define, short string. So we can say, let's short, short string. Sorry, I have to use underscore to forward was supposed to be. Now, if I should run this is see that. So I will take it, use my single quotation. Say this is a short string. And if for some reasons it goes beyond 31 characters, you can see we have an error here. We have an error already. It's complaining. The value does not fit into the range. So for you to call it a short string, it has to be less than 31 characters. Okay. Go to the next slide. Now we also have integers. Now we talk about the negative and positive numbers. So then we have the byte arrays. Byte arrays can have as many characters as possible and with double quotation marks. So just keep this in mind. The other one is single quotation. This is double quotations. All right. Before now, we're talking about scalar types. Now we are onto the compound types. Compound type we have is actually tuple. Now the basic difference between this and what we have been seeing is tuple, you have multiple types, in one compound. Like you have male, female, trans, all of them in one place. Even goods, fish, everybody, they're all there having a good time. So that's the only difference between the houses. And this is example of the tuple. You can see we have U32, 64, the Boolean. So you can easily organize everything together. Then we have the UN type. This is basically like a tuple with nothing inside. Okay, there's nothing in it. We see the usage as we progress. Meanwhile, is there a question? Please repeat what you said about doubles. I said that double quote is for byte arrays. And byte arrays can take more than 31 characters. Okay. So, but for single quotes, that is for short strings. Short strings can take nothing more than 31 characters because a single felt can only take in 31 characters in it. I hope that is clear. All right. Okay. All right. Next thing we have right here is are we up to this? Yeah, is fixed size arrays. So we have arrays. These are like collections, collections of elements of the same type. Say we have men like boys, 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 boys. That's collection of the same type. Collection. They have girls on one side. They're all the same. Then we have goods, maybe chips, or cars. So that's what this guy is all about. And can we read anything? Like unlike tuples, which can hold different size and uniform. Okay, like now, if you want to define fixed size arrays, you need to define the type that's going to be. In our example here, we have it to be as of type U64, and then the number, that's the number of members within the array. That's array 1 here, should be 5. That's what we have here. We simply populate it by writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what we're trying to explain here. Now, when you use this is instances where you have maybe some things that are so fixed. You have the days of the week, instance we're giving here, or maybe months in a year, it's always 12. So you can easily use this. You can also have other instances or scenarios depending. So it depends on you, the engineer, to like define the, depending on what you want to define the program. All right. Next, then we have to assess. Say, some people say deconstruct. If you want to access elements within this array you have defined. Okay, let's see. So if we have an array like let array equals, I'm taking that we have there, and then if you want to get okay now is in folder folder. I don't have Sierra. I'm six face. Okay, Celia, did you when you were instantiating your project, did you use Starknet Foundry or Cairo test? So that should be the first question, because if you use Cairo test, I believe you are supposed to have what I have. Can you share slide? Yes, I can share the slide. Let me get all right. That's the slide. So okay, you think. But most important thing, did your code compile and execute? Like, did it give you what you wanted to see? Maybe if you were trying to, okay. I wonder what the issue is. Why not try setting it up again with Cairo test and just make sure that now it's Cairo test and run your hello world and see what happens. Then get back to me. Okay. So right here we have our. So next thing we have to destructure it, or they say deconstruct, whichever you want to use. In JavaScript, we call it destruction. Let's you use the say you can call it AVT, and then we so we equalize it to array. So right now we can actually have access to whatever we have here, to be able to destructure it and we can get the values here. I think we can print it, right? We can print line macro, say A, say A is whatever it is, okay? And then here we capture A, and then we end the statements. So if I run, oh, I've not learned code there so far. I'll open my terminal and say start, start, Cairo. So hopefully this works. So what I'm getting so far are warnings, like variables I did not use. So that is how strict Cairo can be. You have to make use of everything you defined within you. Okay, you can see that we have it here. A is 1. And if you look at whatever we have, it's 1 still. So if you don't want this warning, what you can do is add underscore here, and then execute again. Hopefully we won't get this error warnings again. Okay, what's the meaning of the exclamation? That's from the question. Question. What is the output of this code? Yeah, Joy, I think I'm executing that. So you can see the output. This is how you output it. Now we can't get the output of these other guys because we are not trying to output them. Remember, it's a statically typed programming language. So whatever you say is what it's going to do. Yes, somebody already answered the question from Joseph. The exclamation mark there is like a macro function. So macro functions actually have some things happening underneath. Yes, so it makes our work easier as well. But when you run it, some code tends to run underneath. Eventually, execute what we have there. So yeah, I think we're just a fixed size array. Converting. Okay, next thing we have here is converting array to span. So we get to see this again. Span is like a struct. It's like taking a photograph of your array. This way you can work with it. It's kind of memory efficient. All right. For right now, let's hold on it. We get to see it well because we get to see it later. Currently, we are talking about fixed size arrays. There's also dynamic arrays that can grow. Get that. So yeah, we're gonna use it eventually. So probably I will explain it better how to get there. Next, we have is type conversion. So while writing your program, sometimes you want to convert from one type to the other. Yes, and this is where type conversion comes in. So if you're working with maybe U8, all of a sudden you want to get the result in U64, all you have to do is convert with type conversions. And in Cairo, we have 2 methods. That's the into method and then the try into method. The one we have down here, try into. So it's that simple, right? Into and try into. Into and try into. Into and try. It's compiled now with the test. Okay, yeah, Celia, yes. So, like I said earlier, if you want to write like basic Cairo programs, you use Cairo test. That's the when you are spinning up the project. But if you want to write contracts, which I think for next week you will write it, you stick with Foundry, because Foundry makes things a lot easier for you. So back to what we are saying, the conversion. Now, if you want to convert from something small to something big, that is when you use into. Then we are going into this. We have some examples here. If you want to convert from U8 to U16, by then looking at this, you can see that 16 is bigger than 8. So whatever 8 is throwing at it, 16 can easily take it and pretend like nothing is happening. So if you're going from something small, maybe a number small to a number big, you use into. But if you want to convert from say U16 to U8, in this case, you have to try. You use try into. First of all, you try and see if that will work, right? So you are saying, I want to try. If this works, then I get my value. If it doesn't work, well, we were trying actually. And that's why we have to include dot unwrap. So here we have U8 I want to convert it to U16. All we have to do is say number variable here, which is my U8. Want to here we're converting it to 16. Now at the same time we're converting U16 to U32. So that was what's happening here. U16 into U32. Now you have the ones that can fail. That's a possibility it will fail. Because if you look at U8, I think the highest number it can take is 255. Well, U16 can take more than that. So imagine if you try adding 300 in the space of U8. So that's what we are trying. It's just we want to simply with unwrap and navigate through that. It will panic actually. Okay, I think when we have key points, we're just trying to like put it we have it, which is still all. On to the next slide we go. Now we have control flow and functions in Cairo. So even without telling you, if you want to define a function, use the fn keyword. I believe we already seen this here. Fn, this is it. So any function that you want to declare, define, you use the fn keyword, then the name of the function, right? In this case, name here is main. Let me see, okay. But what we have here, we have fn and another function. Then you have parentheses, okay, that can take your parameters if you intend to maybe add some function. Then you have the function body. Okay, fine. This is the function body that is enclosed by the curly braces. This like basic function you can have, very, very basic. And if you want to run this function, remember you have to so like execute whatever that is happening. So I think then main here we are executing the function. So okay, function with parameters, you can pass variables here. Okay, you say number should be of type U16. See the way we defined it, we define the parameter and then the type. Then you can also have multiple. Num2 or maybe num1. Talk about U16 as well. Then here we want to maybe add okay, maybe not do this. But let me do that. Let's sum equals my guy is trying to tell me that is correct. So we're adding the two numbers, this num and 1, right? Together. And then here we are trying to output the outcome. So right here, I'm going to call this another function. Supply 3, 6, let's go with what it has, 7. Hopefully, that should be 7. If it's not 7, then we're gonna have to investigate. So my people, we have this. Sum is 7. Now you can see I just used an operator here, right? So we have a couple of operators in Cairo as well. It supports them actually. So you can have maybe a negative guy here. Let's make it positive. 5 minus this, so this should be 4. Everything being 4. If not, we investigate as usual. Meanwhile, these errors are what is getting. Why don't we just get rid of that by small? So yes. So 5 minus it works. We also have the multiplication. So you can use this multiplication. That should be 20 if everything being equal. So I'm like showing us the basic operators we have. I don't think I have this actually in the slide. So since it came to my mind, let me quickly go through this. Some is saying some okay, products now. Product, yeah, it's products. I mean, but you get the idea anyways. Product is 20. I have quotient that's remainder. So you can use this by where is it? Alright. I think 4 divided, we should be expecting 1. So make that is remainder. If it's not, that's no problem. Still, we should be getting 1, I guess. Okay. Alright. That's it. Remainder is 1. So that's like remainder operator. Do you have any questions so far? Alright. I think I have 2 shots. Let me quickly see. Should we always have, yes, I said it. Okay, it shouldn't be at the start, but it can be anywhere at all. It has to be somewhere within your program because that's like the gate, the point of entrance. So if you build a house without gates, nobody can enter it. Can we convert? I hope that's clear, Cillian. So the function main can be in your program, but yes, doesn't have to be at the starting. No, no, it's not a must. Hopefully, I'm correct. Let me just confirm that. Sometimes we'll be talking trash. I think you're right. Okay, let's hope it works. Uh, okay, so it works. You can see that it works right now. So it doesn't have to be at the top. It can be anywhere at all. It's like and say curly braces is like and space, right? Sorry, Ebuka, can you like rephrase what you just said? The curly braces is like I'm guessing you're talking about this. It's like the scope of your function. Scope. uh, Space. Say add space. I don't fully understand that. Maybe you can rewrite what you've written, but the curly braces is like the scope of the function. So this function here, another function starts from here and terminates here. It starts from line 3 and ends line 6. So can we convert from U8 to U32? Yes, you can convert from U8 to U32 with the into method because U32 is bigger than U8. You can also convert from U8 to U64 because U64 is bigger than U8. You can also convert from U8 to 128. These are bigger values, so you should be fine. I'm confused. Did you put the number in the function? What do you mean that put the number in the function? Okay. I define the parameters here. This is like the function. Then this is where we are using this operator here. And now we are printing it like trying to output it. I'm guessing this is what you mean. And then right here, I'm calling it. Okay, let me just comment out these guys. Now, how you comment, of course, use your command slash if you're on Mac. I think if you're Windows, something else, something slash. You know how you comment. So yeah, this is where I'm calling the function right here. And yes, it is it is in the main function exactly. So yes, thank you, Mr. Weeks. Is that John Weeks? We have to wash Okay. I have got, I mean, side the points. Okay. You're talking about the placeholder here. Okay, this is like a placeholder actually. Like, this guy is holding the place for rate. Now, for some of us, I said this earlier, some of us that are more advanced, just hold, like keep the pace with us. From the interaction I've had with some people, this is like their very, very first programming language. And I think it's best we carry everybody along. Maybe it might be a bit boring for you, that's a bit more advanced, but, be your mother's keeper, right? So that we get to the same destination. Yes, so you can actually increase the speed if you ever want to make worksheets. Yes. But the goal is not to finish everything and nobody will understand. The goal is to help everybody, like as many as we can. All right. So, okay, talking about the space, you can actually have this. I think it should still work. You can add something here. So yeah, you can actually experiment with this. Everything will be fine. So, that's it. Okay. So I know some of us are very, very new to this. So you can see it still works. Yes, still works. So now for those of us that are new, like I said, you're required to do more, okay, to get up to speed. Yes, because you can still get it. Just do more work. Fine. Wow. Please, can you give a swift rundown of all felt types? Felt is only one. There's no felt types. Okay, felt is just felt. Only one felt. That's felt 252. I can actually change what I have here. Say that. Let me define felt. Put it out. That felt. Uh, Just leave it where it is. This is equal to. This is felt. Okay, felt is felt. There's no other type. Felt 252. Now, if you want to specify the type, you can still do that. Felt 252. And 252 and fit. Okay, maybe you will have to rephrase your question so that I understand what you're saying. You mean the new function is required for execution? Yes, it's required for execution because that's the point of your entrance. It's like the door to your program. Okay, other functions needs to be called. Yes, they need to be called in main function before your compiler can see them. Other functions we have to go through the main function. Okay, everybody to pass through the door before you can get into the room. Why did you call function? Well, if your function gets bigger, you want to call function inside of that function. But remember, in the end, you must always pass through main. All right. Say, I mean the U32 and all of it. What do you mean U32 and all of it? Can you ask question of it so I can understand? All right, going back to what we have here, functions. I think we've done this. Parameters, for example. So we define a function right here, similar to what we have there. And now we're calling this the main. Right. So next one is statements. Statements. So let's example like this. A variable like this is a statement. We say doesn't return any value. Then we have expression. Expression is the one that returns the value. So yeah, I hope that is clear. So you can see expression. So it means what we've been doing right here. This is an expression, and then we have to it's attached to what is it called? So whatever this evaluates to becomes a statement. So meanwhile, all your all your statements are actually expressions, because this guy you have, a let x equals 6 can also be written as let 6 times 1, which is also 6, right? So they are all expressions. But then there's something like invisible. This can be 6 plus 0 is still 6. And so everything is expression, but yeah, get the idea. At least for some of us that have been studying maths. For returning of values, um, you can actually return a value. We have currently I'm printing this. I'm printing it here. So what if I don't want to do this? I can return it by saying sum. If I want to return it, then I will need to modify my function to also return U16. Yes, I know some of my friends on the call are totally new to programming language, this development and all. So I hope I'm carrying you along. Let's hope yes, I can do. But if you still have issues, remember you can reach out on the Telegram. So like this, I believe this should work because we are trying to return what we have there. Now you have two options. You can return it like this, or you can return it with the return keyword. Return keyword. Like that. Let me just comment out the return keyword. Run this. Start parallel. It's coming. Let me see the question I have. So a statement includes yeah, statement is like when it's not doing anything, you can just assign trait y. That's like a statement. It's not doing anything. But when you have let y equals 3 plus x, 3 plus maybe 8, that becomes expression. So when you are like to evaluate something, yes. So you can see it's successfully compiled, like successfully. So another way you can do it is, like I said, you can return it with return keyword. Once we see successful, we should find. Next thing, it was said here actually. Slide. Control flow. Okay. Here we're talking about if expressions and the loops. So just to confirm, I say that everything was successful. All right, now I'll be cleaning out. Okay, so I'll be cleaning something. All right, next thing we have is the if expressions. So if expressions, like we already said, you're trying to like expressions to evaluate something. So with if expressions, if a condition is true, the block of the if is evaluated. If it's not true, go over to the next block of code. So we have a basic program here that's trying to like say, let me first of all we say we assume let me click this. I want to as possible. Let's know. So equals okay. Then say if uh norm is equal to, let me see this, right, don't lie. Then just do else number is four. Okay. So this is like what it is about. You know, so once this evaluates to true, then this particular block gets printed or gets executed. So this and before I want to call it. So since it's not taking anything, then so everything is successful. The number is what? Not 4. So if we now add make it 4, probably 5. I'll get back to it. So we've successfully executed what we have. And yeah, next thing is what? Loop. So we have actually currently 3 types of loops. And we have loop keyword, the while loop, and the for loop. Hope I remember you can always drop your questions. So you can see that right now we're printing 5. Remember, you can always put this like so with your placeholder, then you capture the number. You can do that right here. So now with loops, you know, loop is like ending. This guy is on ending, doesn't end unless you introduce uh, like a condition at which it will break. But with this other guy, once I'm talking about one loop, once the condition is like fulfilled, it breaks. Same applies to so we have the ending loop here. It doesn't have any. So I'll clean out it. I'll say loop. Okay. So let's print. Then let me see this. Sometimes you're gonna have to include the gas flag because you don't want to use this in your program. This is it doesn't end. I see that. So I probably will have to end it manually. Um, okay. Let's see. Just yes, there are 3 loops. Yes. Yeah. I think 2 or 3 is okay. By the way, there was a time you don't even have 1. So now you have 3. You should thank. Okay. All right. And, so you can actually run the program using gas limit as well. Gas is like helping you manage the resources. So you don't overspend. I mean, if you're moving from say Abuja to Lagos, what's the need going to Abuja to Lagos? Buy a flight, when you don't actually have a business or anything reasonable to do in Lagos. You just make money at Lagos. Don't come on Wednesday at Lagos again. You're wasting money, right? So you go to Lagos when you have a need, like as a purpose, you're going to Lagos. So that's why we have gas. So you specify the gas that's okay. We want this to take. But currently, you can see in the program that I ran, I did not include this because currently it's been like embedded. But for some, back in the day, actually, you must run it with the available gas, which you have to specify. before the program will change. All right. So okay, we also have the break and continue method. Since we have that here, yeah, let me just copy this thing down faster. Okay. Go back to, I'll simply clean out, paste these. So I'll simply explain what we have here. We are defining a variable here. Now you can see a new keyword, mute. We have not used this before. Something I need you to remember is, Cairo, everything is defined. Once it's defined, is permanent. You can't actually change it. But we developers, we have to make our life easier, given the power to actually make it mutable, make it look as though we can take it. But the truth is, we're not detecting it underneath. But it kind of helps us to like work with our code. In this case, we are trying to say that we want counter to keep changing with every increment in the loop. So we have our initial variable which is set as 0. And then here we are saying loop. And we say if counter is equal to 10. So we're going to count from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once it gets to 10, we break. And this kind of break is actually breaking. Let me remove something. Break. Break. So let's execute this and see what happens. So here we have the counter. We are increasing the counter by 1, just like a regular with stops. And eventually we have the results, because why do we have the results? Everything from the loop, you see that, was like saved into the result here. All right. So next one we have is it's still a loop and it breaks when it's greater than 10. This one is equal to 10, which is greater than 10. And then okay, here we're trying to continue. So once it's 5, we want to continue. Let's execute this and see what happens. No problem. Wherever we stop, this session. So this is it. Now I think this is the one. What you have here is so don't worry about it. Everything should be fine. So we're expecting to see. We're not expecting to see 5 in this case. Once it's 5, we should continue. Okay. So you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We jumped 5. Move on to 6. All right. That's very. We have the while. So while the condition is true, it's very, very basic. And let's just execute it and see. So again, we define initial variable as number and make it mutable. If you fail to do this, make this mutable, you can see the problem. Must be mutable variable. So the compiler will actually complain. So we have to make it mutable for what we have it to work. And if we execute, we should have like decrements. So 3, 2, 1. Not even to have. So 3, 2, 1. So far, I believe we are actually getting it. I will need some feedback at this point. Are we following so far? Is everything okay? especially for the beginner. When beginners, do not be shy. Yeah, this is your chance to ask questions. Okay, while I wait for the question, move on to the next. Then we have for loop. We use this for iteration through a collection. If you remember, I told you earlier that an array is a collection. Collection is like a collection. For people into art, they say you are into collection, you're collecting arts, different pieces. So here we have a bunch of felt that we're trying to collect. But before you make that happen, you need to convert it to make it a span. Then, all right, okay. Favor is following. Any other person that's not following, you can explanation. Right. Uh, okay, so we have the array here. Now here we are converting it to a span, and then we say for element in A, in this A, we are trying to get whatever. Let me put it and see what we have. So I see that value that it's all good. I think that brings us to the end of it. Onto arrays we go. I told you earlier we have two types of arrays. Okay, already past time. Sarah, how long do we stop this time? Since we did. Sarah, are you there?
Oh, yes. Did you say anything?
Yes, like, do I stop here because I think it's already time, or do we continue?
So I
Continue on our next session, which is tomorrow. Yeah,
Yes, I don't know how you will be able to maximize the next session because the next session is also 2 hours, right? And we have like agenda for next session too. So I don't know.
yeah. This array is in the next class. Originally, I was the one that brought it for.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Yes.
I think if it's fine with you for us to move it to the next class, then it's fine. Then I just hope we'll be able to manage the 2 hours we have the
Yeah,
next session to be able to cover everything needed.
this is page 27. We just have like 10 more slides actually. That's what I have. That would be fine.
Okay. Let me check for guys, you can ask questions that you have in the chat box in the meantime. So okay, good. Oh, great. I don't know. Are there questions? Guys, are there questions for your tutor?
Of course, if they don't have any question yet, maybe they need some time to
Later.
always ask me. Yes. So there's no need to rush. We're here to help you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, country cousin, for that beautiful session. So let me take it again. I'm going to share
Just
the
please, I don't know if she has a question. Joy, Eden Joy. Um, is it possible maybe to unmute her? Is she
okay,
supposed to write? Yeah.
yes, since we're at the end of the class, I'm going to do that. Just 1 minute. Okay, Joy, you should be able to unmute yourself. Hi, Joy, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hi. I already have the question written in the comments. I've been asking for a while.
All right, let me check. Can't see any question. Is the type conversion classified under? No, it's not classified under. That's a different altogether. You are trying to convert from one type to another. Yes. So you're converting one data type to another. It's not a data type, but it's like a function, a method that helps you convert from one to two. I hope that is clear. Yeah. Okay.
There's another question in the chat box.
Yes, you see, I think be able to successfully install this. Yes, okay, for what we are doing currently, just choose Cairo test. Okay, choose Cairo test. But remember what I said, from next week, when you start writing smart contracts, always stick with Foundry. Yes. Well done. Well done. Wow, fun. All right. All right, that's it. All right. Okay, Chidinma, peace. You have a question? You can unmute and ask.
Yes, I have a question. So I was
Yeah.
asking, yeah, probably I misunderstood the data type. And then you said again that it's not data types. I wanted to like understand the conversion because I got lost when you were explaining the conversion. Then I asked, but like I wasn't able to like probably put the question in the right order.
All right. For conversions, like I said, it's just like you trying to convert a man to become a woman. You understand? That's what the conversion is all about. Converting a woman to become a man. So, like I said, it's like from one type becoming a man to becoming a woman. It's not like a data type on its own. It's a way, like a route to get next data type. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Data types. Where's the conversion? Yeah, type conversion. This is it. So this is like U8. And here we're converting it to U16. That is what we did here. Into this, we're taking this variable here and show you.
Like, sorry, why is U8 and U16 and like do they do specific things? Are do they do separate things?
Okay, these are data types. You understand?
Okay.
How do I explain this now? U8 can the highest number um, the highest number U8 can take is 255. You
Okay.
understand? But U16 can take more than, okay, I think that is it. I'm not sure. The AI, whatever, is trying to complete it for me. So you can see the value is increasing, right?
Yes.
You can actually get this by checking out, say, you, uh, if you want to get this with your calculator, you say 2 raised to power uh, 8. That's for you, 8. Let me bring it up.
Okay.
2 raised to power, it's still on that power minus 1. That will give you this value here. So it's like 2 raised to power n minus 1. You get all these values here as they go. So
Okay.
it's not so difficult. Yes. Hope that's clear.
Yes, thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other question before we
Okay, so guys, while we wait for any other question, we're going to be closing the call in the next 4 minutes now. So I just dropped the score tracking sheet. So it currently has the attendance for the first week. So if you're seeing 2, that means you attended 2 sessions. If you're seeing 1, that means you only attended 1 session from last week. And if you're seeing 0, that means you didn't attend any session last week. We take attendance on Zoom online here. So if maybe the name that you use in joining the call is not your original name, I mean, the name that you use in registering for the bootcamp, please, for subsequent classes, kindly join with your real name. So we'll be able to track the appropriate, yes, the appropriate person's attendance,
I have
right?
a question.
Okay, what's the question?
My name is not on the list. It's not there at all.
What do you join the classes with? What name do you join the class with?
I even checked with both the one on my Gmail and my real name. Nothing is there.
What name do you join with?
Join the class with.
Yes, what name? Is it this Truthify?
Yes. I'm not sure. I think the last time I joined it with Wasi or something. That's my real name.
Okay, so what I would do is I will drop this on colonies. So for anyone that has any complaints, you can drop your complaints in the comments. So I'll attend to every question, every complaint, because we won't be able to take all of that right here. But just make sure for subsequent classes, you join the class with your real name, right? And then if maybe on this track, on this sheet, the name that maybe you joined with is not exactly your name, you could just as well drop a comment when I drop that message on Starknet Africa Colony. So yeah, think we've come to the end of the class. Thank you for joining the session today. We're going to be having the second session for this week on Thursday, same time. That's 5 p.m. UTC. Please ensure to join early. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask on the Starknet Telegram channel. And you should also go through the things that you have learned in class today. If you know you're like a complete beginner, make sure you like spend extra hours studying so that at least you can have understanding, or if you can study ahead of the class is also good, so you can come with your questions, yes, to the next class. So if there are no questions,
Sorry, I have a question.
all right, you can ask your question.
Okay, so it's about the type conversion, because yeah, you will have something like try into. So I know that the into is for guaranteed conversion and the try into is for fallible conversions. So is that unwrap going to, like, I don't know what that unwrap is doing here. That's what I just want to inquire about.
Okay, country code, are you going to answer that?
Okay, like I said, unwrap helps to handle, in an instance where the conversion is not valid. I think I explained it why. it helps you like navigate through that process. Uh, most students,
Hello.
yeah, Paswini, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So let me just clarify truth what unwrap does. So here, yeah, Chidima says for error checking. So whenever you use unwrap for basically um an option type or a result type, like when if something is going to return either an option enum or a result enum, that's when you use unwrap. So if it's returning option enum, it's basically a sum or none. So sum means it's actually whatever you're doing is actually returning the value. None means it's not returning the value. And if it's for a result enum, it's either returning okay or error. So anywhere you see unwrap, just know that whatever that unwrap is attached to is returning either an option enum or a result enum. So if you see that unwrap there, if that stuff returns sum or returns okay, everything works perfectly well. But if it returns none or error, what unwrap does is that it's going to fail, like it's going to end, it's going to panic that statement there. So that is what unwrap does basically. So unwrap is mostly used anywhere there is a result enum or an option enum. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay,
Kaswi.
thank you, Kaswini. Thank you, cousin.
Thank you. All right. With that, we've come to the end of today's session. You do well to have a great night rest and see you guys on Thursday, same time. Bye, guys. Bye.